Hello, we are Appvengers Game Development, a group of students from La Sabana University, presenting this activity for the Multimedia workshop subject directed by Professor Rigoberto Saenz. The team, Sofía Carvajal, Daniela Larrotta, Catalina Correa, Jerson Galeano, Nicolás Aguirre, and Salazar.
The first game we will talk about is called June's Journey, launched in March 2017, available on iOS, Android, and PC platforms. June's Journey is a free mobile game where you have to find objects hidden in beautiful, carefully crafted scenes. It's a hidden object mystery game, and each scene takes you further through a thrilling modern mystery story set in the 1920s. The players step into the role of amateur detective June Parker and set out on a journey through the glamorous roaring 20s. Escape to a bygone age of mystery, danger, and romance as you search for hidden object clues, from the parlors of New York to the sidewalks of Paris. The game was developed by the company Wooga. Wooga is a mobile games developer that makes games with thoughtful, compelling stories at their core. It's a mobile-first game developer in Berlin, Germany. The company develops free-to-play mobile and social games for mobile devices, such as smartphones and tablets, and social networks like Facebook. It is the world's fifth biggest game developer by monthly active users on the Facebook platform as of March 2014. We want to create joyful experiences that awaken the player's desire to see what happens next and encourage to become part of exciting worlds where their actions drive the story forward. June's Journey is an adventure and mystery game with classification over 9, what makes it family friendly. On this point in click puzzle game, the first level presents the story and explains to the player the dynamics of the game, from how the interface works to some clues to be able to function in the base way from there. Each level is relevant since it is a puzzle whose solution gives steps to solving the mystery presented from the beginning. The case of the murder of the parents of Virginia Van Born will be solved by the hand of the detective and protagonist June, and other characters that level will appear.
Gears 5 is a third-person shooter released on September 6 of 2019 for Xbox One and PC Microsoft Windows. The developer studio which created the game is called the Coalition, a section of Microsoft that was conceived to develop the continuation of the Gears of War saga and the remastering of the first 3 games originally created for Xbox 360, in order to release another exclusive game with great reception just like Halo for Xbox. A lot of people do not consider the game just fit in the description of shooter game, but also fits in the genre of horror survival. They have by now created a very specific target of consumers who have already played the franchise and consider themselves fans of it. The SBR classification is Mature plus 17. In this chapter of the saga, we will play as Kate Diaz, a soldier from the COG, the Coalition of Organized Governments, in order to fight a violent race of monsters who used to live under the surface of the earth called the Lacos, which was believed it was extinct after Marcus Phoenix and the humans won the war against them by killing Mira, their queen, just to find out that they reborn stronger. Soon, we will discover the true origin of these creatures alongside the history of their old queen, Mira, and finding that Kate has a very close bond to the new queen, her mother, who died in the previous chapter, Gears 4. The story is divided in 4 acts, which can be considered as different levels. In the first level, Bert, a former soldier and now a weapon developer from the COG, sends the Delta team to reactivate the satellites that allow the Hammer of the Dawn to go on full functionality, a weapon of massive destruction. After that, our Gears are sent to a township to defend it from the blitz of the Lockouts. We will be forced to evacuate the city until JD comes with the idea of using the Hammer of the Dawn, which will lose control, causing the death of Lindsay Carmine and harming himself. In the second act, Kate travels to a township independent from the COG in order to recruit more soldiers for the very same organization she belongs. After that, it's shown that the leader of the township is her uncle Oscar. Once again, the Locos attacks. Kate is absorbed by a monster and starts to get on the heads of some of the Locos there in the battle, until she starts controlling one of them, loses control, and kills his own uncle. After that, we suddenly are in an open world of snow, in the search of a ancient laboratory called New Hope. which was already visited by Marcus in Gears of War 2. Kate decides to investigate there so she can understand the bond between herself and the Locusts, finding that the Locusts are actually humans that suffer from mutations from the experiments on the pursuit of a cure for a disease caused by the emulsion, and that her mother is a direct descendant from Mirai and is being revived so she can become their new queen. In the third act, we're thrown into a different open world, this time a desert, in which we are going to try to put into orbit the satellites of the Hammer of Dawn so they can have a proper function. In the fourth and last act, our Gears are sent to New Etheria, where Kate informs everything she's discovered. Suddenly, the Lockhouse start another attack on the city. The new queen takes his friends JD and Del by choking them, making us to take a decision on whether we save one or another. After we take the decision, we open up our way through the city until we have to face a Kraken as the last enemy, in which Jack ends up sacrificing itself to direct the Hammer of Dawn blast towards the monster. The mechanics of the game are based on shooting, charging, and getting cover, punch, and of course use the chainsaw as all the previous ones. But also, in this new generation of Gears, we have been able to perform other kind of actions like slide more fluently over the coverages. On time to time, we are going to be able to do the same thing as previously mentioned, only this time you can kick an enemy and kill him. Also, when you are on cover and the enemy is in the other side of the coverage, you can drag him to your side and kill him with your knife. You can also choose between various number of weapons like the classic ones or the new ones. These are the controls and the way you can use them in the gameplay. The qualification of this game is an 8 out of 10, because brings back a lot of the original trilogy and redeems itself from its not so good predecessor.
No si la encontramos primero.
Angry Birds 2. Angry Birds 2 is a video game of action and strategy. It was released on July 31 of 2015 by the Finnish company Rodeo Entertainment. For iOS and Android, it was created in Unity. This game is categorized as a logic or puzzle game because it requires mental agility, and it also has a rating of E, so a person of 6 years and older can play. At the start of the game, the player will see an intro that tells the story of why the birds are trying to destroy the pigs. So the player takes control of a flock of birds on a mission to recover the eggs from their nest, stolen by this pig. The objective of Angry Birds is to complete the levels. In each one of these, there are shelters made of glass, wood, stone, and other materials where the pigs try to hide. So the player will have to launch the birds against these structures to eliminate them. At the beginning of the level, the player has a set of cards, from which he can choose the bird to launch. Also, when the player destroys any structure or pig, the game will measure the play and will give him some points. It is important to mention that the birds can level up if the players earn enough points to get a feather. These feathers are power-ups, so if he gets one, he can choose which bird will have it. And the next time the player uses that bird, its powers will be more destructive. Taking this into account, if the player fills the point bar by being so destructive, he will award a bird or a spell card. Also, some gifts are randomly located in the levels,
and a treasure that can only acquire if he completes the level. The gems, lives, and avatars and other items can be obtained through the app. Additionally, another element is that the player will be given an egg. He will have to name it and feed him with apples. This will cause the bird to grow up and then be part of the game, giving power-ups to other birds. Angry Birds 2 has 3 types of levels, which makes it even more difficult. In the first place is the normal level. It's the standard level, so the player has to eliminate all the pigs to complete it. Second is the difficult level. He has to eliminate all the pigs, but the structures are built with more resistant materials, so it is more difficult to destroy them. Then there is the boss level. He has to eliminate all the pigs and defeat the big boss at the end of the level. For this one, it is necessary to destroy several structures to obtain cards and have the opportunity to pass the level. Okay, now let's talk about which character can appear and what powers they have. Red. This is the main bird of the game. It knocks down wood and bounces against stone. The blue ones. It is so small, but when it launches, it splits into 3, achieving a greater range of destruction. It is very useful to destroy the last. Chuck, the yellow one, is the fastest of all, because when the player activates its power, it can achieve a high range and destroy the structures. Bomb, the black bird. My favorite, personally. This bird explodes a few seconds after being launched or when it comes into contact with a structure or a pig. This bird is so destructive that it is a very good option to use it first. Terrence, the big one, is considerably heavy, causing a greatest damage to all materials. Matilda. It launches a neck-shaped projectile. Silver, that made her first appearance in this version. The power is to perform a spin in the air and then make a strong fall to the ground. This helps to destruct one of the strongest structures. The number and kinds of birds vary from level to level. Like the birds, there are 20 different variations of pigs, each one with a different level of resistance. The most dangerous are the bosses. They can be the chef boss, the mustache boss, and the king boss. These 3, like I already said, appears at the end of the levels. They are the most powerful. To play in reverse, the player only has to shoot the bird, then drag the finger to shoot it and wait for the pigs to disappear. Cards can also be used as a good strategy if the structures are difficult to collapse. My team gave it a score of 10.
These game reviews were made for the animation module of the Multimedia Realization Workshop subject taught by Professor Rigoberto Saenz at the University of La Sabana. My name is Jerson Galeano. I am 21 years old and I am a student of audiovisual communication at the University of La Sabana. I am currently in the 8th semester of my degree. The Last of Us is a survival horror, action, and third-person shooter game developed by the American studio Naughty Dog and distributed by Sony Computer Entertainment in 2013 for the PlayStation 3. Naughty Dog is an American company founded by Andy Gavin and Jason Robin in Santa Monica, California. The company is dedicated to the development of video games and is mainly known for being the creator of successful series such as Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, and finally The Last of Us. At the time of its release, The Last of Us was listed under PEGI 18 for Europe and has mature category on ESRB for America. This thanks to the fact that the game during its story has gore and bloody scenes that surround the player in a post-apocalyptic world worthy of admiration. The plot of The Last of Us begins in September 2013 when, due to the mutation of the cordyceps fungus, which turns humans into authentic cannibals with a desire to eat human flesh, a pandemic is caused that spreads through across the United States and causes anyone who is not yet infected to seek refuge out of the reach of zombies. This game is a journey deep into the thoughts of its two main characters, Joel and Ellie, who have a long way to go to achieve their goal, save humanity from destruction. Speaking of the psychological section of the game, topics of all kinds are explored. Love, hate, fear, loyalty, misfortune, loneliness, violence, and many others. It is a video game that offers a one-way trip but not a return one. You either love it or you hate it. The truth is that thanks to its incredible story worthy of a series, which by the way is being produced by HBO now, The Last of Us was a game that was praised by critics and the most experienced players. The Last of Us has two main characters, Joel and Ellie, who are responsible for guiding us through this adventure. Their main enemies are the zombies, but throughout the story, our characters meet different survivors who stand in their way. The game has 12 chapters that tell us the occurrences of this pair of characters. They are all incredible, but the one that stands out the most for its psychological impression and gory scenes is Lakeside Resort. The mechanics of The Last of Us are based mainly on the collection of objects, the combat, and the solving of puzzles that allow us to advance in each stage. Quite simple, but well implemented. The controls in the game are straightforward and easily remembered. Additionally, since you can only play with DualShock 3 or 4, they are quite optimized. In its graphics section, although it is true that it is quite well achieved for its time, the little graphic processing capacity offered by the PS3 didn't allow it to enjoy better graphics. Even so, if you like how it looks on PS3, wait until you see the graphical improvements that were included in the remastered version released for PS4 in 2014. Personally, what I think that stands out the most from Last of Us, apart from his incredible script, it is his art in general, from the character design to the constructions of the sets. Now, talking about the sound section, the game has a long story of positive reviews thanks to its design and its original soundtrack. Finally, due to its incredible gripping story, the depth of its characters, its graphic and sound, and its complexity, we give it a 9. This just because when you finish the main story of the game, multiplayer isn't attractive enough.
The next game we're going to talk about is called Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. It was developed by Mediatonic Company and released by Devolver Digital. Its release was announced at the Electronic Entertainment Exposition in Unite 2019, however, it was officially released until August 4 of 2020. As mentioned before, Mediatonic Limited is a developer company. It is a British video game developer based in London. The company was founded in September 2005 by Dave Bailey and Paul Croft, releasing their first game Snowman Salvage in December of that year. Mediatonic has developed original games for different platforms, including Murder by Numbers and Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. This is a game for computer and PlayStation 4. It can be found and downloaded on the Steam platform and in the PlayStation Store. This is a battle royale video game inspired by television shows like Wipeout, American Ninja Warrior, and Grand Prix. It is a multiplayer game where 60 players compete online, going through different challenges and obstacles until only one player remains, who is the winner.
The characters of the Fall Guys players are always the same, however, the game has different skins to customize the characters. These skins can be obtained by paying with the coins that the game gives. Talking about the levels, these are always random. In each game, there are 5 levels that can be rotated in no order. There are tracks of obstacles or challenge where the first to achieve the objectives will continue to the next level. There are tracks of different categories like racing, team minigames, survival minigames, and logic. On each level, the player faces the challenge that the game puts on them. The only actions the player can do are run, jump, grab things, and push other players. Being so many players in a single game makes that the space to run or advance is sometimes reduced, causing the character to fall and lose time. Or it may also happen that the player leaves the track, causing him to start again from the beginning or from a checkpoint, in order to continue the game and see if he can classify to the next level. Due to its aesthetics and genre, it becomes a video game for all audiences. From the youngest children of 7 years old to even the oldest ones can play it, because the graphics, the gameplay, and the objectives that it has make it suitable for anyone. Also, the rating for Fall Guys according to the Entertainment Software Rating Board is for everyone. The controls that the gamers use for the Fall Guys on the PS4 are: to move, the left stick; to adjust the camera, the right stick; to jump, the X; to throw, the square; to grab, R2; and to show the names of the players, L2. On the other hand, the controls for PC are: to move, WASD; to adjust the camera, the mouse; to jump, space; to throw, control; to grab, shift; and to show the names of the players, tab. Finally, the score that we give to this game, taking account all the things mentioned, is 10 out of 10.
Hi, I'm David from Appvengers, and I'm gonna talk to you about one of the biggest games of 2020, Among Us. This video game review has an academical purpose as requested by Rigoberto Saenz at University of La Sabana for the Multimedia workshop. So, let's get started. Among Us is a video game developed by the North American company Slot. It was originally intended to be an only map, mute game that resembled the party game Mafia, but this was later discharged. Slot was created in 2015 by Marcus Bromander, a game designer, Forrest Wheeler, a programmer, and Amy Liu, a visual artist. They developed several video games before Among Us. They were called Dig to China and the Henry Stickmin Collection, that was composed by 5 games: Breaking the Bank, Escaping the Prison, Stealing the Diamond, Infiltrating the Airship, and Fleeing the Complex. It was in June 15, 2018 that they launched on Android and iOS the video game Among Us, and later that year, November 16, 2018, they released the video game on Windows also. The game was accepted by the public, but it wasn't a hit till 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, that the game was massive download and accepted. It has such a great impact that later in 2020, November 17 to be specific, they launched a version for Mac OS, and on December 15, it was released on the Virtual Store for Nintendo Switch. That same day was announced that they were releasing a whole new, bigger map, and that they had plans for the release of the video game on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Series S during the first semester of 2021. This video game belongs, according to the developers, to the party and social deduction genres. The target audience of this video game are the people who go from 15 to 25 years. They like mysteries, solving crimes, and thriller stories. I may also add that they must be good liars. After all, this is a lying game. The video game has been rated PAGI 7+ and ERSB Everyone 10+. But let's go step by step. What's Among Us about? The game mechanics are very simple. This game is online and can be played with unknown people in a public room or with friends in a private room. This game takes place in a space-themed setting in which the players, that can vary between 4 and 10, has either of two roles: imposters, the villains, or crewmates, the heroes. The number of imposters is selected by the team on the waiting room. There you can also pick your color and the game settings such as number of tasks, kill cooldown, kill distance, vision, and others. If the group of players has 6 people on it, you can pick 2 imposters. If the group of players has 8 people on it, you can pick 3 imposters. Or you can pick only 1 imposter. Once on the playing room, which can be one of 3 maps, a spaceship called Skeld, a headquarters building called Myra HQ, or a planet base called Polus, you will receive the notification of your role, crewmate or imposter. Your notification will only tell you about your own role, not anyone else's. If you are a crewmate, you will see your name in white color right above your head, as you will see also everyone's name in white, including the imposter, so you cannot know who or whom are the imposters. If you are the imposter, you will see your name in red color right above your head, and you will also see your partner's name on red. Once you have your role, crewmates are assigned tasks to complete around the map. Something like minigames. You can download data and upload it, fix wirings, fix shields, dump the garbage, and several others. You can verify the progress on everyone's task with a task bar that you can see in the high left corner, right above the task list and opposite to the map button. Once the task is finished, the bar will rise a little bit. Once a crewmate gets close to a task, the task will glow with a yellow border line. There are also some visual tasks, such as scanner, destroying asteroids, and garbage, that can be seen by the others around. That way, that player can be cleared of all suspicion. Imposters have only one task: kill everyone on the ship. You can do it by killing the crewmates or by sabotaging the ship's light, oxygen, and reactor. Imposters have also a task list, but it's a fake one, in order to blend with the crewmates. However, the imposters cannot perform any task, but they can fix their own damages, oxygen, reactor, and light, if they want or need to blend in. There are several bands that connect the different rooms of the ship, but can only be used by the imposters. Crewmates have 2 buttons, Use and Report. The Use button is to interact with the ship, fix damages, or do the tasks. The Report button is to report a dead body if you found one. Imposters have 4 buttons: Use, Report, Kill, and Sabotage. The first 2 buttons are for the same thing as the crewmates: fix the sabotage rooms of the ship and report a dead body. The Kill buttons appear when you are close to a crewmate member, but every time that you use it, you need to wait between 15 and 30 seconds to use it again. Think of it as a recharge. The Sabotage button is for sabotaging the ship. When you are above a bend, your Kill button can become a Bend button, in order to hide or move between the bends unnoticed. Once a crewmate is dead and found, you can report it or press the emergency button at the start of the game and do an emergency meeting, in which nobody can move. It's the only space in which you can talk with the other players via text. During the meeting, if they discover or believe they discovered an imposter, that can happen through their surveillance system as cameras or watching him do the killing, they can both eject someone from the ship. If you throw out all the imposters, you win. But if you throw out some crewmates, you will be giving the imposter some leverage. Once you are dead as a crewmate, you become a ghost. You can do your tasks or fly around the ship, but you cannot communicate with anyone alive. Everyone has a limited cone of vision, but ghosts can see it all. If you were an imposter and were ejected, you can also be a ghost, but you can only sabotage in order to help your partner. you can no longer kill anyone. If you throw out all the imposters, crewmates win. If the imposters kill or throw out everyone but one of two, depending on if you are one of two imposters, the imposters win. When you play the game on a computer, you can move one of two ways, by clicking the point where you want to go or with the classic buttons W, A, S, D. W if you want to go ahead, A if you want to go left, S if you want to go backwards, and D if you want to go right. In order to kill, you have to press Q. In order to report, you have to press R. If you want to go out from a task, you have to press Escape. If you want to interact with the ship or use something, you have to click on it. If you play in your cell phone, well, you'll have to press the screen above the button or enable the joystick. As a group, and taking into account the graphics, complexity, storyline, controls, and enjoyment, we decided to give Among Us a solid 8. Thanks for watching this review.